Hey Dee,
Hey,
what is your wish list for city council if you're elected?
my wish list, first of all, is that we utilize the information that we have to understand how ordinary people are really suffering in this city. We have data that's been collected by different groups who represent folks who have not benefited from the boom that the city has gone through, folks who have been excluded by virtue of gentrification, working 2 and 3 low-wage jobs just trying to survive. One of the things that to solve a problem that we have to do is accept the data. And I don't believe our city council has honored the data that's available to show how ordinary people are suffering here. The other thing is that our city council has to have a better understanding of how everyday people have to deal with items that pertain to survival and just raising a family here. And so I would say, what I'd say is that the awareness that city council represents not only one group of people, but average ordinary citizens. The other thing that I'd like for city council to do is take just a short trip over some of our infrastructure needs that we have in the city, how it's so far behind, how many streets are torn up, sidewalks that are unwalkable, things that the city council was organized to take care of, basic necessities that have gone in infrastructure neglected and are years behind. That's another thing. The other thing that I would want the city council to actually look at is I'd like for them to work a day in the shoes of somebody who made $7.75 an hour, okay?
Wow.
And they themselves just recently converted over at the Civic Center from that wage rate to what we call a living wage. So they don't fully appreciate the fact that there's a lot of folks, by virtue of the fact that the hoteliers that they brought in here, incentivized to locate here, who they brought without a community benefits agreement, and our people are suffering. And specifically, our young people are suffering, living 10, 15 to a house to make it affordable based on these slave labor wages that they're being paid, who are our servers, not only our servers, but have other jobs just to survive, who are going to have to ultimately leave Asheville, can't live here, and their parents, you know, the goal of any parent to raise a child is to see that child, to educate that child, to see it grow up and then become productive in the community where they were raised. And that's heartbreaking for average parents who know that this can never happen. So I would want them to know about that. I would also want them to be able to identify with the fact that we need one Asheville because we certainly have one destiny. We have whole groups of people who send their children to school that the educational system is not addressing. And it happens to be a problem that is incurred year over year without being properly addressed. Even though they have all of these different programs that the city funds through the CDBG and other funding, the obvious problem is poverty. And so most of them, for whatever reasons, whether they are not seasoned business owners or business people, don't seem to realize that there needs to be opportunity portals set up, not only for citizens of color, but for all folks who are in the city who need it. So we need to tend to our people and our basic needs better, rather than always indulging in esoterics and talking about a high-scale hotelier that we've neglected to exact a living wage out of before we hand them the ability to develop in our downtown, and an inundated atmosphere or presence of these hoteliers. Anybody with basic business knowledge knows that you have to have a diverse economy to have a strong economy. So we've been lazy, and we need to deal with that and not even investing money into our local businesses to grow a local supply chain, which would automatically cut down on carbon footprint. And these businesses, we could have them pay a living wage and make sure that they hired locally. It would solve a number of our problems. So those are the things, a lot of them are economic, that I would focus on. But most of them that I have mentioned, it appears that the council that we have and the ones who have been elected either don't have the proclivity nor the interest to impact those kinds of changes for everyday citizens. Thank you for the question.
Okay.